Hello everyone, welcome to the KZGN News. Today we'll bring you news from Washington and Sacramento, news of an RV fire, a report from the Ridgecrest Media and Art Committee, news from Ridgecrest PD, and news from the Democrat Club, today's gas prices, weather sports, and much more.
From the Rademacher Hills to Bee Mountain and the mighty Sierras, Ridgecrest to Inyokern and China Lake, this is your news for the Indian Wells Valley with the KZGN News Crew.
Hello, I'm Tom Whitnick. Thanks for joining us for the news affecting Ridgecrest and the Indian Wells Valley. In news from Washington, we get this report from Congressman McCarthy. House Majority Leader Kevin McCarthy released the following statement. This is concerning the release of the Energy and Water Development and Related Agencies Appropriations Act of 2017. It includes language to deliver water to California's Central Valley and Southern California communities while protecting water rights. He said, El Niño storms this year have provided a welcome departure from previous years of devastating drought. Unfortunately, what has remained consistent are regulatory decisions that release more water flow out to the Pacific Ocean. It is the duty of our state's leaders to pursue every possible avenue of relief for our struggling communities to get the water they desperately need. For years now, California Republicans have offered serious proposals that have passed the House. Unfortunately, each time, our senators failed to meet the call to fix the problem. I am hopeful this time will be different, he said. Appropriations bills put the power of the purse in the hands of Congress to prioritize the policy of the federal government to meet the needs of our constituents. The inclusion of California water provisions in FY17 Energy and Water Development Appropriations Bill is the latest effort by my California Republican colleagues and me to press for solutions and, once passed by the House, offers the Senate another chance to consider this important legislation. This year's El Niño storms have blessed our state with rain and snow, but the Bureau of Reclamation has pumped less this year than last year when we faced historic dry periods. The gravity of the circumstances cannot be understated. Recent statements from Senator Feinstein that acknowledges more pumping is needed gives me confidence that should the Senate consider its own energy and water appropriations bill, both chambers can reach a solution. The House Appropriations Subcommittee consideration of this bill is an important step to providing water to all corners of the Golden State. So that was McCarthy's statement. I'm sorry, but I have to ask, where is the outrage towards Sacramento not doing something to stop our water shortages? It is completely within their power to fix if they would just do it. 74% of the water that falls in California every year flows out into the ocean. That's enough water to reestablish our Central Valley farms back to their profitability. Democrats refuse to build new storage capacity to catch that water. Instead, they do nothing. Why? In news from Sacramento, we get this story from Assemblywoman Shannon Grove's office. Yesterday, she presented a bill in the Assembly Transportation Committee to create an In God We Trust specialty license plate. The bill, AB 2253, was sponsored by the Bakersfield-based nonprofit In God We Trust America, Incorporated. The founder and president is Bakersfield City Councilwoman Jackie Sullivan. Despite the committee approving two other specialty license plate bills right before Grove presented her bill, the committee Democrats rejected the proposal, defeating it along a party line vote. But the legislation isn't dead. The bill was approved for reconsideration. So Grove plans to bring the bill back to the committee after making some changes to deal with some of the committee's objections. I'm disappointed with the vote, said Assemblywoman Grove. Committee members complained they wanted a state agency as a sponsor, not a nonprofit. So I'm working on getting the California Veterans Affairs Department to sponsor this bill. In God We Trust became the United States national motto July 30th, 1956, under the leadership of President Dwight Eisenhower. These same words have been on U.S. currency since 1864. Let's hope political correctness doesn't kill this bill. In fire department news, we have a report of an RV fire that damaged a lot more than just the RV. The video is supplied by Dave Johnson of the High Desert News Service. Last Monday at about 7:50 p.m., units were dispatched to the 300 block of South Lenore Street regarding a trailer on fire. As units arrived on scene, it was determined an RV was engulfed in flames in the Elks Lodge parking lot near the west wall. While assisting with fire control efforts, the owner of the trailer approached the scene yelling out, "That's my trailer!" He told officers that Nicole said she was going to burn his trailer down when he kicked her out. Brown did not know Nicole's last name, but pointed to a woman in the parking lot and said, "That's her." Officer Buchan detained Nicole Guess, and Detective Cushman was called on the scene to investigate a possible arson. With the assistance of Kern County Fire Department arson investigators, Detective Cushman determined there was sufficient evidence to arrest Guess for arson. Guess was arrested and transported to the Central Receiving Facility in Bakersfield, where she was booked for arson of an inhabited structure and an outstanding warrant. The fire was so high it reached up into the telephone lines above it. This generated an interruption to phone and cable customers. Kern County Fire responded quickly and got the fire put out in minutes. However, not before the phone lines and cable lines suffered damage. Many people lost telephone and cable service for quite a while. By about noon on Tuesday, most service had been restored. Anyone with information regarding the incident is encouraged to contact the Kern County Fire Department Arson Unit hotline at 1-877-347-3847. Again, thanks to Dave Johnson of the High Desert News Service for one video and another section from a KZGN-TV viewer. Now stay with us. After the break, we'll have some election news. Thanks for staying with us. In election news, we get this report from the Trump campaign. As we get to where it now appears that California will probably be the deciding state on who gets the Republican presidential nomination, Trump has recognized how important a campaign in California will be. Today, Donald Trump announced that he has hired veteran California GOP strategist Tim Clark to direct the California campaign effort. Clark has 20-plus years of experience running Republican campaigns in California, and has also served as a campaign advisor to several state GOP chairmen. Mr. Trump stated, "I am pleased to bring Tim on board to organize what is a very important state. I know he will be an asset to the team and ultimately deliver a win in California." "This is an exciting time for the Republican Party," said Tim Clark. Donald Trump's message of fiscally sound government, restored economic prosperity, and strong national security is re-energizing our party's conservative base. We have a very important job to do in California. By harnessing the excitement surrounding Mr. Trump's candidacy, it is our intention to deliver 172 delegates for Trump to the National Convention. Tim will build out a top-tier statewide operation, and Mr. Trump will be traveling to California several times before the primary in June, where he currently leads in all state polls. In city news, the Ridgecrest Meeting Art Committee met Tuesday afternoon at City Hall. It was noted and accolades were provided for the 3 pieces of art that have been installed. The committee took action on the next piece to be installed at position 1. The art is called Atwinder by Skip Gorman. The art depicts an old ancient warrior hand about to launch a primitive arrow weapon. This piece of art is located at the closest location to the entrance to the Naval Air Weapons Station front gate. The concept was to tie the petroglyph theme to the Navy-based Sidewinder missile, hence the chosen artwork. This artwork will be about 10 feet high and weigh about 450 pounds. This one is sponsored by the Ridgecrest Area Visitors and Convention Bureau. While a couple committee members expressed concerns over the actual artwork, they barely approved the piece on a split vote, with the approval only passing by 1 vote. 1 person abstained from voting. While there was no reasons given for the displeasure, just comments of reluctance and concern. Next, they got an artist's rendering of 3 more pieces being created by Olaf Dowd and John and Suzette Caulfield, and sponsored by Ridgecrest Regional Hospital. These pieces will be installed at locations 7, 8, and 9, which are in front of the hospital. All 3 are rock sculptures. They are titled Shaman Medicine Man, Lean on Me, and Footprints. All will be about 7 feet tall. They'll support rock engraving and attached metal figures. All 3 were approved by the committee unanimously. Next, the committee was given an update on other positions. Most are in process, but not in actual development for presentation yet. There was approval for 2 of the sponsors to trade spaces. The committee is recommending the coordination installation of the next group to be all at the same time. This saves time and cost to the providers. Another item brought up by the Ridge Project, they proposed they provide the labor and funds to finish the paving of the center medians on South Norma Street. This is between Upjohn and Bowman. This median is partially now concrete over, but about 2/3 of it is still raw dirt. The Ridge Project proposed finishing the concrete work, and that there would be a partial colored paving at the end of each section of this area. The committee approved the proposal. The meeting closed with the committee to now start looking at other mediums in the city to come up with ideas to do those as well. In business news, we have discovered the Ridgecrest Kentucky Fried Chicken has closed its doors. No public comments or reasons were offered by the restaurant employees or the owners. They just confirmed that it is closed for now. No information was provided if it may reopen or what the plans are for the future. Now here's from the Ridgecrest Police Department. Distracted driving is such an important safety issue that April is recognized as National Distracted Driving Awareness Month. In California, police, sheriff, and CHP officials are joining the Office of Traffic Safety, the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, and the National Transportation Safety Board, as well as law enforcement throughout the country, working together to focus on education as well as enforcement. The purpose of the campaign is to raise awareness about the dangers of distracted driving in an attempt to change behavior and save lives. Not just in April, but also do this year-round. The Ridgecrest Police Department will join statewide enforcement campaigns on April 20th, Zero Tolerance Days, when all agencies will be especially vigilant for distracted drivers. Although the purpose of the campaign is not to write as many citations as possible, sometimes citations are necessary for drivers to understand the importance of focusing on their driving. Distracted driving continues to be a problem, especially as the use of smartphones increases. Although such crashes are often difficult to prove, California had at least 84 fatal distracted driving collisions in 2013, 85 in 2014, and 67 in 2015. With the actual number of cases likely higher, the number of injury collisions for the same 3-year period shows an increase: 10,078 in 2013, 10,463 in 2014, and 11,023 in 2015. Data for the 2014 nationwide shows 3,179 people died in distracted driving collisions, which is 10% of all crash fatalities. An additional 431,000 people, or 18%, were injured in motor vehicle collisions involving distracted drivers. As we rely on our cell phones more and more in our everyday lives, we seem to be kidding ourselves and thinking that they don't affect our driving, said Director Rhonda Kraft. Crashes are up. The scientific evidence is solid. The dangers are real, and they apply to all of us. We need to silence the distractions. The problem of distracted driving is significant. The Department of Transportation notes that any given moment during daylight hours, more than 660,000 vehicles are being driven by someone using a handheld cell phone. A television campaign will be done in April with the message, "You drive, you text, you pay." There will be public service announcements and social media campaigns urging drivers to silence the distraction. So you ask, just what is distracted driving? Distracted driving is any activity that could divert a person's attention away from the primary task of driving. All distractions endanger driver, passengers, and bystander safety. These types of distractions include texting, using a cell phone or smartphone, eating and drinking, talking to passengers, grooming, reading, including maps, using a navigation system, watching a video, adjusting a radio, or other devices. But because text messaging requires visual, manual, and cognitive attention from the driver, it is by far the most alarming distraction. Warning, don't text and drive. The Democrat Club has announced their next meeting. The Democrat Club of the High Desert will hold their monthly lunch meeting on Saturday, April 16th at noon at Grape Leaf Restaurant Patio Room. This is at 901 North Heritage Drive in Ridgecrest. They are honored to announce that their guest speaker shall be Dana Lyons, chairwoman of the Ridgecrest Regional Hospital Board of Directors. Dana will share the very exciting progress and accomplishments made by the hospital during the past few years. She will also tell us about some hospital plans for the future. Everyone is welcome to attend. There is no admission fee, and buying your own lunch or a drink is optional. For more information, contact Matthew Alexander, the press officer, at 760-382-3878. Now, in KZGN's continuous effort to provide news and information you've asked for, here are today's gas prices for Ridgecrest and some surrounding areas. Well, since my last report on Monday, local prices have held steady. And the good news is we still have the lowest prices in all the areas we are monitoring. As of this morning, Ridgecrest is ranging from $2.57 to $2.99. Lancaster from $2.69 to $2.99. The LA Valley area $2.63 to $2.79. and the Bishop area 279 to 309. We have 3 stations at 257 per gallon. Tune in Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays for updates. We at KZGN always suggest you shop locally to support our local economy. Remember, when you pay sales tax out of town, you're helping those cities pave their streets instead of here. Now stay with us. After the break, we'll have weather and sports. Thanks for staying with us. Now here's Lane with the weather.
Thank you, Tom. From the National Weather Service, thunderstorms with hail and strong or damaging winds will remain possible across southern Texas. Meanwhile, gusty winds and low humidity will continue across portions of the northern and central plains. Heavy rain is also possible for parts of the western and central Gulf Coast. Temperatures across the nation: Carolinas at 57, Georgia at 63, Arkansas at 55, northern Texas at 59, Arizona at 77, and Los Angeles at 65. And for us locally, tonight, partly cloudy with a low around 54, west-southwest wind 5 to 15 miles per hour with gusts as high as 25. Thursday, mostly sunny with a high near 76, south-southwest wind 10 to 15 miles per hour with gusts as high as 35. Thursday night, partly cloudy with a low around 47, west wind 20 to 25 miles per hour with gusts as high as 40. Friday, sunny with a high near 73, north wind 10 to 15 miles per hour with gusts as high as 25. Friday night, mostly clear with a low around 49, north wind 15 to 25 miles per hour with gusts as high as 30. Saturday, sunny with a high near 81, north-northeast wind 15 to 20 miles per hour. Saturday night, clear with a low around 52, north-northwest wind 10 to 15 miles per hour. And Sunday, sunny with a high near 83, north-northwest wind 10 miles per hour. And that is your forecast for the IWV. Now back to Tom.
Thanks, Lane. And now here's Tom Heck with sports.
And a very pleasant Wednesday afternoon to everyone. Let's talk about Saracoso baseball. Very good game yesterday at the Dog Yard. Coyotes trailed in that game 6-0. Made a nice comeback, went ahead 7-6 in the 8th inning, only to see Rio Hondo score 3 runs in the 9th. Brad Fogel played tremendous, pitched his best game of the season in my opinion, and got the loss. Unfortunately, pitched very well. Brad now on the year, 3 wins and 5 losses. Saracoso again Thursday at Rio Hondo, and then Saturday back here at noon. All right, let's talk about the NBA. Last night of the regular season play, and the last night for Kobe Bryant. He'll retire after tonight's game at Staples Center. The game will be televised on ESPN. Kobe Bryant, 20 years with the Lakers. He'll go down as their all-time leading scorer, also their all-time leading three-point shooter, also had an awful lot of assists, led the team to 3 NBA Finals, and will go down as one of the greatest NBA players ever in the history of the game. Also tonight, the Grizzlies and the Warriors. Significant because if the Warriors get the win, they'll win 73 games this season. Right now they're 72-9. That'll be the all-time record set by the Bulls back in 1996. All right, let's talk about the other winners last night. The Pacers, the Heat, Toronto, and the Spurs. Spurs back on the winning streak. They lost at home first time this year to Golden State on Sunday night. They beat the Thunder last night in overtime. So they'll go down season with a 35-1 record at home. All right, the Angels came back in the 9th inning. They win. They were down 4-1 going into the 8th. Luis Pujols had a big 2-run scoring RBI double in the bottom of the 8th inning. Other winners in baseball yesterday: Texas, the Tigers, the Phillies, the Rays. The Orioles stay undefeated. They're 7-0, best start since 1944. Royals and the Giants also get wins. Dodgers opened up at home yesterday. They lost to Arizona 4-2. Vince Scully, the longtime broadcaster for the Dodgers, was honored before the game. Scully, 88 years old, will retire after this season. NHL, Western Conference, here's how it's going to go down. It'll be the Wild against the Stars, Chicago and St. Louis. The Predators play against the Anaheim Mighty Ducks, and the other Southern California team, the Kings, will host the Sharks for Game 1. That'll be tomorrow night. So there's your 4 matches up with the the Stars, St. Louis, the Ducks, and Kings all starting at home. Senators in the NHL fire Dave Cameron, their 4-year coach. Also, tonight, 5th grade basketball league at the college. Come up and watch the teams play. They begin at 4:30. They go to 8:30. And they'll culminate in 2 weeks with the end of the season tournament, the 29th and 30th, right here at Saracoso. Busy, busy sports day. I'm Tom Heck for KZGN.
So that's the news for today. Also, KZGN-TV know you have a choice in what you watch for your news. We all thank you for choosing KZGN-TV, Ridgecrest's only locally owned community TV station. Now stay tuned for Ridgecrest Talk, coming up next.